Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be returning to the Nemesis. That's right, but this time we're going to be taking on the Void Seeders. I've had a lot of requests for this, and I really want to bring this to you. This is our final intruders that we can play against during the actual original Nemesis campaign. Now, right now, lockdown is going on at the time of this recording, so I thought I'd show this off so people can get a better understanding of how this Void Seer faction works in Nemesis. We're also going to be playing with an old favorite, and we're going to be playing with a new character as well. We're going to be bringing back the pilot. She's going to be coming back into the game. And then to bring her back, we're going to bring the Psychologist. I think that the pilot has a lot to work out. If you have seen my first playthrough of Nemesis, she was our solo character we played when we played the first Nemesis game. And I think it's time for the Psychologist to come in and help her out. Now, we're going to go ahead and quickly set up the game. And I'm going to show you the differences between the way the normal game is set up and the way the Void Seeder game is set up. A lot of this stuff is going to be the same. And so that's why you already see all the things back on the board already. Our rooms are already out there, but I'm going to show you the rest of the setup, and then we might even start playing this one because the setup probably isn't going to take too long. Now, if you're excited to see if our characters can make it through the Nemesis yet again and try to take on these Void Seeders, then I need you to meet me at the table. Now, the first thing we have to do is set our board up, and we're using the first side of the board. The other side is the more difficult side. We're just going to go ahead and play on this one. I'm just really excited to show you how these guys work. Now, the way we've set up the board is, if you've noticed, all of our board tiles are out there, but our exploration tokens are underneath. And there's a reason for that. When you go ahead and set up for the Void Seeders, the first thing you're going to do when setting up is remove this room covered in slime. There aren't any slime creatures in here. The Void Seeders don't use slime. The next thing we have to do is remove 2 slime exploration tokens and 2 silence exploration tokens. And to replace these, we're going to be putting in 3 layers for the Void Seeders. Now, the reason that these tokens are not out on here like this, because if you look at the actual token, this is another token from the box. And if I put them all out on the board with these extra tokens from the other box, you're going to see that there's going to be a considerable difference in the color of what these look like. So I didn't want to know where these were. If they just put them out like this, I could definitely tell which ones are the layers and which ones weren't. So what I did is I actually had my wife come down here and set our board up for us. So I don't know what tokens are underneath these. And also, if they were on top, I would actually be able to see the colors. Now, one difference from the actual setup of Nemesis and the way you set the Void Seeders up is the engine rooms themselves also have exploration tokens in them. So all the rest of the exploration tokens that you have in the game are used in this playthrough. Now, we are playing a 2-player cooperative game, and so I have to put out our escape pods. I do have to put out a couple of them. So I'm going to put those in these 2 areas right there. Also, I've put our token up here at B, but I still have to put our coordinate card out there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up our coordinate cards and put out a coordinate, and we're just going to put it right there, and now that's all set up as well. My wife, of course, also set up all our engines. They're already ready. The reason I did that is because the exploration tokens are underneath. So that is set up as well. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Void Seer board here. We're going to go ahead and put 5 eggs in the lair. Now, that lair is going to be just the normal one we find out here from our normal games of Nemesis, one of the intruders. Now, this lair is different on the Void Seer board. The Void Seeder board layers are actually where they're bringing upon the creatures that we are seeing. The creatures we see actually don't exist. They're figments of our imagination. They're the horrors that our brain has comprehended from the way that these layers are affecting us. They're trying to drive us insane and kill ourselves or kill our friends or things like that. Now, I put out 3 corpse tokens over here because every time we destroy a layer, we're able to grab a corpse token and put it on the board. That's the only way corpse tokens can come on the board, because like I said, everything else is just a figment of our imagination. Now, the next thing I want to do is go ahead and put out our Void Seeder weaknesses. These are just like every other weakness card from the actual game of Nemesis, but these are specific to the Void Seeder group. And I'm going to put them out here. Now, we can gain them one of 3 ways: by bringing a intruder carcass, an intruder egg to the laboratory and analyzing it. The other thing we can do is, if we can bring a rather insane individual to the laboratory, we can also take advantage of a Void Seeder weakness. So that's the way this board is set up. Now, the next thing we need to do is develop our Nemesis bag, the start of it. So we have a whole stack of tokens here, just a whole ton of them. But if you look, they're different from the other games, because all they have are warning levels on them. They don't have actually any other thing. So the way you do these is you're just going to put in some random ones, and that's all you are. Because again, these are not actual creatures. These are the figments of our imagination, the horrors that we have faced. So we're going to take and put the blank one in. We always get to put the blank one in. And then we also have to put in 2 random ones. I'm just going to put a couple in there, 1 and 2. And then we also have to put 1 for each of our characters. So I'm going to put another 2 in there, and the rest of these we're going to place back in a stack right here. And if we have to put any random tokens in there, I'll just grab one at random from maybe right there, drop that one in, and then put it back on top. That's the way we're going to try to work our board here. Now, also in this bag, we are going to put a green and purple token. These are our insanity tokens. We're slowly being driven mad by the Void Seeders, and these are going to, if we pull these from there, things might happen to our characters. So we're going to put both of those into our intruder bag, and notice there's not much in there. We're going to go ahead and put it right here. Our Void Seeders are all set to go. Now over here, we have some of our old favorites and some new ones. We have our Serious Wounds and our Contamination deck. Those are the same from the original base game. But look, we have a new event deck built strictly for the Void Seeders. We have a Void Seeder attack deck, and we have a Panic deck. This is new to the Void Seeders. I'm excited to see some of the cards in here and how they affect our characters. So these decks are all set to go. I've also placed out all our weapon, normal item, and health kit item decks, and I've also put our crafted item decks over on that side. I don't need to show you those because we've set this up many different times, so you know how those work. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get our character set up. We're going to start by getting the pilot ready. We're going to go ahead and give her her gun. She starts with a shotgun. It has 2 ammo, and every time you deal at least 1 injury, you deal an additional injury, which is going to be good. Let's put it in the right hand. Now, remember, you can only hold 2 items with that symbol, so her shotgun is going to be one of them. Also, she gets a couple key items as well. She also has some starting equipment here that we have to unlock. We've got our orbiting maneuver system. I can discard an energy charge to activate this item, and what this one is going to allow me to do is every player, including you, must pass immediately. Intruders don't attack this turn, and the turn ends immediately. So if I really wanted to stop everything cold in its tracks, that's the way to do it. Also, I've got an evacuation key. Activate this in the fire control system room. And what this is able to do is I'm able to, if you are in an evacuation section room, unlock or lock an escape pod in the evacuation sections. All right, so I have the ability to unlock a pod if I want to. I'm going to put those right there. Now we do go ahead and shuffle these up. These are our character to determine who is first or second. She's going to be our second player. That's just fine. Now, normally you're going to go ahead and draft your characters. There's an entire deck for drafting. I just want to play the pilot and the psychologist. I'm really excited to try this. And since we're playing co-op, I have more fun actually picking my characters and enjoying the game. We also are going to go ahead and grab her 10-card specific deck, put it out here. We're going to give it a little shuffle here, and then we're going to go ahead and throw it out. Now, we also are going to do something a little bit different for this actual campaign. This is our insanity track. One of the ways that you can lose this game is if you get to 5 insanity and you have to go and take another insanity point. Now, I'm going to explain this a little bit. You're going to start down here, and the symbols here is what spawns when you actually draw something out of the bag, which is why they didn't have the symbols on the back of the tokens. So as you become more insane, the monstrosities and the horrors that you are envisioning are coming more to life and are coming after you. So we're starting real low, and then, of course, they're going to be becoming harder and harder as we go. And these arrows means that you can actually heal and gain insanity, but at certain points you can't go back. So if we're at number 1 and we take an insanity point, we can go to 2. But at some point, we could maybe heal it by using a rest card, or maybe some of the room actions, or even some of the events might allow you to do it. There are different ways to lower and raise your insanity based on in the game. This is the main big mechanic in the Void Seeders. Now, if you get to 3, once you get there, you can't go back to 2. and you only can keep going higher. But of course, once you're at 5 or 4, you could go back to 3. You just can't go back to 2. There's no arrow going that way. And this takes the place of your character model and the slime. It goes right on top and covers them both. The reason it does that is because the Void Seeders don't use slime, and there are no larva tokens to place on your character there. So we're going to put that right there. We're also going to place one of our tokens here right on the clear mark right there at number 1. And that's where we start. All of our insanity is at 1. Now also, we're going to go ahead and grab a co-op or solo objective. Now some of these don't exactly work perfectly with some of the expansions, but they are still able to be completed. So we're going to grab one for her, and we're going to grab also one for our psychologist. This one is No Man Left Behind. Send the signal, and all rooms on the ship must be explored. Oh, wow, that one's going to be pretty tough. All right, so that's her objective. I'm going to put that right over here. That's fantastic. No, I think I'll stick it up here. That's fine. I'll put it right behind your card. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and look at our psychologist. Now, our psychologist here, she's going to start with a pistol. She gets 3 ammo, and if rolls a double, it's treated as only a hit. So her gun is not the greatest, but we're going to go ahead and give it 3 ammo. We're going to put it right here. And I'm going to go put 2 on the shotgun for our pilot. I forgot to do that. Also, she's going to gain her insanity track as well. Every one of them is exactly the same. There's no difference in any of the insanity tracks. I'm going to replace her miniature with it. And here's the miniature of the psychologist. Gone ahead and painted up a little purple. I kind of like the gray that the code actually gave us, but I did put a little silver stuff in there, and she's writing on a tablet and all that. So here's our psychologist. She's ready to go. I'm actually going to put her right up on the board. She's all set. We have our track ready to go. I'm going to put one of the markers right there. Now she gets 2 special items as well that we have to try to unlock if we wish to. We can discard an energy charge to use the Oculobe drone. What this does is it says, give this item to another character. The psychologist may see the secret checks being made by this character. This item can't be traded or discarded. Now, of course, in the co-op solo mode, this really doesn't play effect. We're probably never going to see it in action. The other one is our quest item emotion scanner. I have to activate this item in the emergency room. What this does, it allows me to play. You can use Don't Panic, Would You Kindly, and Lend a Hand actions from neighboring rooms. Those are some of her cards that are found inside her character deck. Remember, some of them have specific cards. For example, here's Don't Panic. Play this card during a surprise attack against you or another character in the room to ignore its effect. That's a really good card. Also, we have, what was the other ones? Lend a Hand. I think that was one of them we were supposed to be able to help with. That one says, choose any one character in the room you are in. The chosen character draws 2 cards. All other characters in the room draw 1 action card. Then, all affected characters discard 1 action card. So it's one way to kind of get your cards going. And would you kindly choose another character in the room you're in? This character immediately performs either a basic move or shoot action. You choose which action and the target and direction. There is no card cost for that action. So it's a really powerful card. Then, of course, she's got computer skills, basic repairs, interruption, demolition, rest, search, and that's it. All right. I think she's got another search card in here. Yes, another search card right there. So those are her cards. Now, one card I want to talk about a little bit is interruption. This actually can be used in the co-op solo mode for the Void Seeders. What you can do is if they're about to become panicked, you can interrupt that panic card. So it actually is worth holding on to these at some point. We're going to mix these up a little bit. We're going to put them down on her board. And then I think we're going to be all set to start Nemesis. I don't think there's much else left to set up. I'm going to move her down just a little bit. There we go. We are all set. And of course, she's going to be our player 1. And the final thing is she needs to grab a solo co-op objective. It'd be a lot easier just to do one because the one we got over there is already hard enough. Let's see what this one says. This one says, send the signal and the nest must have been destroyed. Oh, that one's terrible. We did that last time and I totally messed up on that. This time, at least, if we do this, I know what I'm doing thanks to all the help I got. Let's see here. Send the signal and the ship must have been destroyed. Okay, we could do one of those 2 things. Wow, we got 2 really, really hard missions. I don't know if we're going to make it through. So I've gone ahead and got our 2 characters out on the board. Of course, we have our returning pilot. She's out here ready to try to get through the Nemesis. And of course, we have our psychologist as well. She is also out here ready to try her hand at the Nemesis. And she's going to hopefully psychologically lead our pilot around. Now our psychologist is going to grab our first player token. She's going to go ahead and grab 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see what she got. 3, 4, 5. She has received Don't Panic. I've read this already. Play this card during the surprise attack against you or another character in the room and to ignore its effect. We have a search. We have computer skills. open or close a door, or I can use a computer without paying its cost. Lend a hand. Choose any one character in the room you are in. The chosen character draws 2 cards. All other characters in the room draw 1 action card. Then all affected characters discard 1 action card. Not too bad. And of course, we have our interruption card. Awesome. I'm going to put those cards right there. And we're going to go see what our pilot gets. We're going to go ahead and draw 5 cards for our pilot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And see what we get. We got Rest, which a new thing this thing can be used for in this expansion is this is one that can lower your insanity by 1 if you pay the Rest card. But of course, it also says here that you also scan contamination cards. If you actually have a contamination card and it does have the infected, you automatically go to 5. No questions asked. So if you're down at 2 and you wanted to go bring it back to 1 and you drew and your contamination card said infected, you would have to put your marker up at 5. It's really kind of a risk-reward type situation. But if you're afraid to go to 3, or if you're on 4 and or if you're already at 5, you might as well drop yourself back down. But the Rest card can be played in that way in this expansion. Also, we have Knowledge of the Ship. Open or close a door in a corridor connected to the room you're in, or look at any one unexplored room tile, then return it face down without looking at its exploration token. We have Search. We also have Computer Skills and Repairs. So a lot of these cards are from that we've seen before many different times. I'm going to be moving a little bit faster in this than I do in most of the other things. Unless it's something that has to do with the actual Void Seeders itself, we're going to be playing this game pretty quick because I've already done a solo, a co-op, also the Untold Stories Volume 1, and this is now our fourth game of Nemesis. So I have a lot of other ones. If you're interested in seeing some things slowed down a little bit or a little bit understanding how some of all the rules work, please go check out those playthroughs as well, and I'll put those in the description of this video, all 3 of those other videos. So, but we're going to be moving into our first turn against the Void Seeders. Now, before we take our first turn with the Psychologist, we are going to stop now. I know I said I might actually do some of the playthrough in this one, but I think it's better just do an intro and setup video so that if people don't really want to know how this is set up or anything, they can just jump right into the playthrough. They have that option. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this setup and intro video. I'm excited to bring the Void Seeders to life, or should I say, from my mind to the Nemesis. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the next video comes out when our playthrough begins. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Are you excited to see if our pilot and the Psychologist can make it through the Nemesis against our evil faction, the Void Seeders? All right, then I need you to meet me at the table.